The galaxy had forgotten humanity. For centuries their name was spoken only in whispers, like a myth told to frighten children or to remind rulers that once there was a species that could not be controlled. The stars had moved on without them. Empires rose, empires fell, and new powers claimed dominance. To most alien races, humanity was nothing more than a story carved into the broken pages of history. But on one frozen night, when the void between stars seemed endless and silent, something returned. At the edge of a remote system, a signal was detected. It was faint at first, a strange echo that moved through the communication lines of alien worlds. At first, the signal was dismissed as noise, another meaningless disturbance from deep space. Yet when the signal repeated, when it began to shape itself into patterns that matched no alien language, the galaxy listened. In the great chamber of the Zelrath Council, thousands of voices argued. Their species had ruled the galaxy for 200 years. They had defeated fleets, erased worlds, and bent hundreds of smaller civilizations to their will. But when the signal was decoded, a single word burned through the hall like fire: Earth. Silence spread across the chamber. The name was not supposed to return. Humanity had disappeared long ago, vanished after wars that destroyed entire regions of space. No one knew where they had gone, and no one wanted them to return. Yet the signal was clear, and it came from the void where human colonies once stood. The galaxy trembled, though it did not yet know why. On the icy borders of the Andrax Nebula, alien patrol fleets detected movement. At first it was only a shadow. Then it became a shape. The scanners shook with confusion. A vessel unlike any ever seen emerged slowly from the darkness. It was enormous. A warship covered in black armor that reflected no light. Its engines glowed with blue fire that pierced the void like the gaze of a predator. The alien captains stared at their monitors and whispered to themselves. The ship was not just powerful. It was ancient and yet new. The patrols tried to make contact. They sent signals in every known frequency, demanding the ship identify itself. For long minutes there was no response. Then a calm voice spoke through every channel at once. The voice was human. "We have returned." Those words shattered the silence of the stars. Panic spread quickly. The Zelrath Council called for emergency sessions. Fleets were mobilized. Rumors rushed across trade routes and markets. The humans are back. The old war ghosts are here again. Small races that had been oppressed by alien empires whispered their own secret prayers of hope. Others shook in fear. Humanity had been known for two things: mercy and destruction. No one knew which face would return now. The patrol fleet that had made contact was ordered to block the human ship. They surrounded it with 20 cruisers, each armed with heavy weapons capable of burning moons. Yet when the humans moved, all weapons became meaningless. With a single flash of light, the human vessel disabled every alien ship without firing a single shot. Their systems went dark, their weapons dead, their ships floating powerless in the void. Not one alien life was taken, but the message was clear. Resistance was nothing. Reports spread across the galaxy. Alien generals demanded explanations. How could a species gone for centuries return with power beyond imagination? Scholars dug through ancient records, searching for answers. The stories were always the same. Humanity fought with a fire no other race could match. They were not the largest, not the strongest, but when pushed to war, they became unstoppable. Now they were back. In a hidden chamber on a distant world, a gathering of smaller species met in secret. They remembered what it was like to live under alien empires that crushed their freedom. They spoke quietly, but their words carried hope. If humanity has returned, maybe the galaxy can change. The Zelrath, however, did not think of hope. They thought of control. They ordered every empire, every fleet, every ruler to prepare for war. The counselors repeated the same warning. Humanity must not be allowed to rise again. They had seen what happened the last time. Worlds had burned, empires had collapsed, and the galaxy had nearly fallen into chaos. But deep in space, the humans did not march with haste. Their fleets emerged slowly, one by one, as if awakening from a long sleep. Each ship was sleek, metallic, glowing with power that no scanner could fully read. Alien captains who saw them up close reported the same feeling: dread. It was not only the weapons, not only the strength. It was the silence in which the humans moved, the calm certainty that they were not afraid. On every world, whispers grew louder. On every star, eyes turned to the edge of space where humanity gathered. Something was coming, something greater than war. And as the first human fleet formed together, stretching across the stars like a wall of steel and fire, one truth became clear to all. The day humanity returned, the galaxy trembled. The galaxy was not ready. Every corner of known space lit up with transmissions. Councils, emperors, and warlords sent urgent messages to their allies. The name that had been buried for centuries now returned like thunder: humanity. In the great city world of Zelrath Prime, towers of crystal and steel shook with the roar of debate. Thousands of alien leaders filled the grand chamber, their voices overlapping in panic. Some called for immediate war, others begged for caution. A few suggested surrender before it was too late. The chamber had never been so divided. On the floor, a nervous diplomat raised his voice. If humans have returned, then no empire is safe. We must strike first before they gather strength. Another leader snapped back. Strike? You did not see what happened to the patrol fleet. 20 ships silenced in a single breath. They did not even fire. Do you not understand? We cannot fight them with the weapons we know. The chamber fell silent. For the first time in centuries, the mighty Zelrath Council looked uncertain. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, smaller species whispered their own truths. To them, humanity was not a curse. Humanity was a chance. Generations had lived under alien chains, their world stripped, their voices silenced. If the humans truly returned, perhaps freedom would return with them. In secret, rebellions began to stir. On the trading routes, rumors spread faster than light. Merchants spoke of ghost fleets appearing near abandoned systems. Some claimed to have seen human ships hovering silently above dead colonies, their engines glowing like blue fire in the night. No trade ship dared go near. The fear of humanity was so powerful that even shadows were enough to change entire trade routes. And still, the question burned in every mind. Why now? On the cold moon of Arran, a group of alien scientists studied the returning signals. Their machines cracked old codes, and slowly a pattern emerged. What they discovered chilled them. The signals were not random. They were coordinates, markers across the galaxy pointing to lost human colonies. Each colony was now reawakening. Each signal was a beacon of return. The Zelrath commanders did not wait for proof. Armadas were sent to intercept. They believed sheer numbers would crush any threat. Hundreds of ships swarmed toward the first coordinate. What they found was not a battlefield. It was a city, an old human world long abandoned, now rebuilt. Towers of steel stretched into the skies, and human flags hung once again over the planet. When the alien armada demanded surrender, the humans replied with silence. Then the skies lit up. The alien fleets had faced many wars, but never this. Human ships moved like shadows, weaving between enemy fire with impossible precision. Their weapons cut through shields as if they were smoke. Entire fleets crumbled in minutes. And yet the humans spared survivors. They disabled ships, left escape pods, and allowed fleeing vessels to live. They fought with power, but not cruelty. That was what frightened the galaxy most. Back on Zelrath Prime, leaders screamed at one another. "They are not here to negotiate," one shouted. "They are here to reclaim." "No," another hissed. "They are here to rule." The debate raged, but the truth was clear to all. The galaxy had underestimated humanity. They had believed the species was gone, erased by time. They had believed wrong. Among the smaller worlds, quiet rebellions turned to open defiance. Villages raised human flags in secret. Miners refused to send tribute to alien rulers. Across the stars, people whispered one word again and again: hope. The humans themselves remained silent. No broadcasts, no declarations, only their actions. Fleets moved with purpose, taking back old worlds with calm efficiency. They did not beg for peace. They did not demand surrender. They simply advanced. In the darkness of space, fear began to spread deeper. It was not just fear of human weapons. It was fear of human will. Aliens had fought wars for territory, for wealth, for dominance. Humans, however, fought for something else. They fought for survival, and survival made them unstoppable. On the far edge of the galaxy, an old alien historian wrote in his journals. He had studied humanity long before their disappearance. He knew their ways, their victories, their defeats. As he watched reports of their return, he whispered to himself, "The galaxy does not understand. Humans do not return as conquerors. They return as storms, and storms could not be stopped." The Zelrath tried to build alliances. Messages went out to every empire, every ruler. begging them to unite against the rising human fleets. Yet trust was thin, old rivalries burned too deep. Some rulers wondered if siding with humanity would grant them survival. Others feared resistance would only bring death. The galaxy fractured, torn between fear and opportunity. Meanwhile, human ships continued their silent march. Systems fell one by one, not in fire, but in certainty. Everywhere they went, the galaxy trembled, waiting for the final truth to be revealed. For in the shadow of their return, one question remained unanswered. What did humanity want? The first encounter, the galaxy demanded answers. Humanity's silence was no longer enough. Alien leaders decided they could not wait for more battles. They needed to speak directly to understand what the humans wanted. If words could not stop them, then at least words could buy time. A grand envoy was formed. It was not one species, but many. The proud Zelrath led the mission, but behind them came the Shalran, the Kryvon, and a dozen others. Each sent their best diplomats and strongest warships to show unity. They believed numbers could create safety, but deep inside, fear guided their every step. The meeting point was chosen in the neutral zone of the Talari Rift, a quiet star system with no life. There on the black edge of space, the alien fleet waited. Hundreds of vessels formed a wall of light around the system. The envoys sat in their chambers, their voices tense. Some whispered that the humans would not come. Others whispered it would be better if they did not. But then the stars themselves seemed to move. From the darkness, ships emerged. One after another, they appeared without sound, without warning. Human vessels, sleek and endless, stretched across the void like an army of shadows. Their formation was perfect, their engines glowing with the same cold blue fire. Where the alien fleet looked loud and crowded, the human fleet looked silent and controlled. A signal came. Clear. Strong. Simple. We will speak. The aliens prepared a station at the center of the system, a floating hall with gravity and air. It had been designed for meetings between enemies. Now it would host the most dangerous conversation in galactic history. When the humans arrived, they came without weapons raised. Only a single vessel approached the station, larger than anything the envoys had seen. It moved slowly like a predator, confident it could not be harmed. The alien ship scanned it with every tool they had, but the readings gave nothing. Its armor was too dense, its energy too strange. The humans had hidden their secrets well. At last, the docking doors opened. From the shadows of the vessel, figures walked out. They were human, tall, calm, dressed in dark uniforms marked with a single emblem of Earth. Their faces were hard, their eyes sharp, and their steps steady. They carried no weapons, but every alien who saw them felt as if weapons were unnecessary. The power was already there, in their presence, in their silence. The leading envoy, a Zelrath counselor with skin like silver glass, raised his voice. You have returned after centuries. Why, what do you seek? The human commander looked at him for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm, steady, unshaken. We seek what was always ours. Our worlds, our people, our place in the stars. The chamber filled with whispers. Some envoys leaned forward, trying to argue. Others shrank back, afraid to speak at all. The Shalran envoy spoke next. His voice cracked with unease. You fight with power beyond measure. Our fleets cannot resist you. If you continue, you will bring war to all. Is this your plan? The human commander's eyes moved across the chamber. He studied each envoy as if measuring their strength, their fear, their lies. Then he answered, We did not come for war, but if war is forced upon us, then war is what you will receive. The words cut through the room like steel. There was no anger in them, no hatred, only certainty. And certainty was more frightening than rage. The Zelrath counselor tried to stand tall. You cannot face all of us. The galaxy is united. Together we will stop you. The humans did not answer with words this time. Instead, the commander touched a small device on his wrist. The walls of the station trembled. The envoys looked to the windows, and what they saw drained the color from their faces. Outside, beyond the station, a single human ship moved forward. It was smaller than the fleets, yet it glowed with a strange energy. Slowly, it turned toward the empty planet at the edge of the system. Then, with one flash of light, the planet was gone. No sound. No fire, just gone. Reduced to dust, erased in an instant. The chamber froze. Envoys could not breathe, could not think. A weapon like that was beyond imagination. They had built weapons to break cities, to burn continents, even to shatter moons. But to erase a planet without effort, it was a power no alien empire had ever touched. The human commander spoke again. His voice remained calm, almost quiet. You think numbers will save you. You think fear will guide us. But we are not what you believe. We are not myths. We are not ghosts. We are humanity, and we have returned. For a long moment, no envoy dared reply. The silence pressed like a weight. They realized then what words could not change. The balance of the galaxy was broken. Humanity had taken it back with a single strike. The meeting ended not with an agreement, but with silence. The humans left as they had come, calm, steady, unshaken. Their fleets pulled back, their engines glowing cold. They did not chase. They did not threaten. They simply waited, and that was worse than any war cry. The alien envoys returned to their empires, their voices filled with fear. Some begged their rulers to surrender. Others demanded immediate war, even if it meant extinction. But no one could deny the truth. The first encounter was not a negotiation. It was a warning, and the galaxy understood. Humanity was back, and nothing could stop them. The galactic tremor. The galaxy had seen power before. Empires had risen with fleets of iron, weapons that burned worlds, armies that stretched across the stars. But this was different. Humanity's return was not a conquest of noise and glory. It was a storm of silence. News of the encounter spread faster than light. Every corner of the galaxy now knew the truth. A single human ship had erased a planet as if it were dust. Entire empires trembled at the thought. Some rulers told their people it was a trick, an illusion meant to frighten. But soldiers who had been there, envoys who had seen it with their own eyes, swore it was real. Fear had a face, and that face was human. On the great markets of the Shalran worlds, merchants lowered their voices when speaking the word Earth. On mining colonies run by the Krivon, workers refused to load tribute ships, whispering that the humans would soon free them. In hidden temples of enslaved species, chants began, old songs of resistance now sung again, each verse carrying a single hope. Humanity had returned. Rebellion sparked like fire on dry grass. On the world of Lauren, where the Zelrath had ruled with iron claws, miners rose with stolen weapons. They painted the human emblem on their walls, an ancient circle of blue and white, and fought with fury against their overlords. On another distant moon, slaves tore down statues of alien emperors, shouting that the humans were near. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy's empires felt cracks in their chains. The Zelrath Council met in secret chambers. Their crystal towers shook with anger and fear. Reports piled on their tables, colonies in revolt, allies whispering of betrayal, fleets refusing to move against the humans. The counselors screamed at each other. Some demanded immediate war. Others begged to build peace. But all agreed on one truth: they were losing control. Human fleets moved carefully, never in chaos, always in silence. They did not storm planets with fire. They arrived, hovered above skies, and waited. On many worlds, alien rulers surrendered without a fight, terrified that they too would be erased. The humans accepted without cruelty. They raised their banners, restored order, and moved on. It was not destruction that shook the galaxy most. It was the calm precision. Every action was measured, every strike deliberate. Humanity was not acting like conquerors. They were acting like something far older, far greater, like a force that had already won. Among the smaller races, secret alliances began to form. Representatives met in dark caves on frozen moons inside abandoned stations. They spoke of hope, of rebellion, of a chance to finally rise against the powers that had crushed them for centuries. Again and again they repeated the same words. The humans are here. The humans will not fail. But not all welcomed them. The Krivon warlords swore vengeance. Their fleets gathered in the Shadow Quadrant, massive armadas stretching across systems. They promised their people that they would be the ones to destroy humanity. But even among them, soldiers whispered doubts. Stories of human weapons, of their silent fleets, of their unshaken eyes spread like poison. In the heart of the galaxy, an ancient historian gave a final lecture to his students. He was old, older than most empires. His skin wrinkled like cracked stone. He had studied humanity before their disappearance, and his voice trembled with memory. Do not think of them as warriors, he said. Do not think of them as conquerors. Think of them as survivors. When all else falls, they do not. When every star burns out, they endure. That is why they are feared. That is why they are hope. Humanity does not return as rulers. Humanity returns as a reminder that no power in the galaxy lasts forever. His students sat in silence, the weight of his words pressing into their bones. Meanwhile, the humans revealed nothing of their true plans. Their commanders gave no speeches. Their fleets broadcast no messages. They simply advanced, and yet in their silence the galaxy heard everything. The trembling was not only fear of destruction, it was the realization that a new order was being born and no one could stop it. On Zelrath Prime, the High Council looked to the skies and saw their fleets burning. They ordered the construction of planet killers, desperate to match the human weapon that had erased a world. Scientists worked day and night, building engines of destruction, but deep down even the scientists knew no machine they built could match what the humans carried. In the far reaches of space, the rebellion grew louder. Slaves raised human banners. Soldiers abandoned their posts. Traitors stopped paying tribute. Every empire shook from within, not from human strikes, but from their own crumbling fear. And still the humans remained steady. Their silence was more terrifying than any war cry. The galaxy now faced a truth it could not escape. Every empire, every council, every ruler was forced to choose, resist and be broken, or kneel and survive. For in the silence of humanity's return, the stars themselves seemed to tremble, and as the fleets moved toward the core, the galaxy finally understood. The breaking point had come, the return complete. The galaxy stood on the edge of collapse. Armies had failed. Councils had broken. Rebellions grew stronger with each passing day. Humanity did not shout, did not boast, did not threaten. They advanced with calm silence, and silence proved heavier than any war cry. At last, the question could no longer be ignored. What did humanity want? On the fractured world of Vera, the answer finally came. The Zelrath Council, desperate to stop the endless panic, demanded another meeting. They begged, threatened, and forced their allies to join. A final envoy was sent, not to debate, but to demand truth. The humans agreed. This time, the meeting did not take place in a neutral zone. It happened on a human world. The envoys were brought to a planet once thought dead, now alive again. Vast cities of steel rose into the skies. Towers gleamed with blue fire. Great banners of earth waved in the wind. Millions of humans walked below, rebuilding streets, raising monuments, and preparing fleets. It was not a hidden colony. It was a capital reborn. The alien envoys were guided into a hall built of glass and metal, a place of simplicity yet power. At its center stood the human leaders. They were not kings, not emperors, not gods. They were commanders, workers, survivors. Their eyes carried the weight of centuries, but their voices carried only certainty. The Zelrath speaker demanded the truth. His voice was sharp, almost breaking. Why have you returned? Do you come to rule? To destroy? To erase all that we have built? The human leader stepped forward. His uniform was dark, marked only with the circle of earth. His voice was steady. No, we did not return to rule. We returned to live. The chamber froze. The leader continued. Our worlds were taken. Our people scattered. Our history buried. For centuries we slept. We rebuilt in silence, hidden in the dark. Now we return not as conquerors, but as ourselves. We claim only what was always ours. Our homes, our skies, our stars. The Zelrath envoy tried to speak, but the human's voice cut through him like steel. If any empire stands in our way, we will break it. If any council dares to deny us, we will erase it. Not for conquest, not for greed, but for survival. Humanity does not kneel. Humanity does not forget, and humanity does not stop. The words spread like fire through the chamber. For the envoys, it was more terrifying than any weapon. There was no arrogance, no cruelty, only truth. A truth too heavy to resist. Outside, as if to seal the words, the skies filled with human ships. Thousands upon thousands of vessels rose into orbit. Their engines lit the heavens in blue fire. They stretched across the stars in endless formation. A wall of light that no fleet could match. The alien envoys returned to their empires with empty voices. They told their rulers what they had seen. Humanity did not ask permission. Humanity did not beg for peace. Humanity had already taken its place, and the galaxy could only watch. On smaller worlds, the news brought hope. Rebels painted human banners across their cities. Entire planets declared independence from alien empires, swearing loyalty to none but themselves. They called it the human wave, a force not of soldiers but of ideas. If humanity could rise from silence, so could they. The Zelrath tried one final strike. They launched their planet killers, weapons built to shatter worlds. Massive engines of destruction hurled fire at a human colony, but when the fire reached the skies, it simply vanished. Human defenses swallowed it whole, erasing the flames before they touched the ground. The Zelrath fleets fled in panic, their weapons useless, and in that moment the galaxy broke. No empire dared stand alone. No council dared claim strength. Humanity had ended the illusion of control. In the quiet that followed, an old alien historian wrote one final line in his book: "The galaxy has many rulers, many wars, many empires. But only one truth remains. When humanity rises, the stars tremble." From that day forward, no one called them myth. No one called them ghost. Humanity had returned, and the galaxy would never forget it. The final image burned into every mind was the same: 1,000 human warships forming a wall of light across the stars. Silent, certain, eternal, the new order had begun,